Summer in Alaska is actually pretty perfect for ski jumping. We're jumping from late May into early October out here.
First of all, when we're summer jumping, we don't jump into the pool. We land on the plastic.
The first plastic jumps were like, if I'm not mistaken, probably late 70s, early 80s. Previous to that, I mean, like if you look back at like old ski jumping pictures, they're used to crush ice in the summer sometimes and put that down to jump on it. And then I've seen old footage of also skiing on pine needles.
You have to be pretty geographically fortunate to be a ski jumper in the U.S. And the kids here, around 4 years ago, got the extended opportunity to have summer jumping, and that totally changed the game here to have a year-round facility.
What I do like about summer jumping is that it's just the conditions are really, like they stay kind of the way they are the whole time.
The conditions are always consistent. You know, the plastic isn't changing. The plastic is the plastic, the in-run is the in-run, whereas snow, you can have fast snow, slow snow, new snow, hard snow, icy conditions.
There are a lot of places that don't have summer ski jumps.
Steamboat Springs, Colorado, Park City, Utah. Those are the only other two in the West, and then otherwise you have to head to the Midwest or the Eastern Division.
Plus it's warm, so there's that aspect that makes it sometimes more enjoyable. You know, it's not 30 below, and you're having to deal with the elements. So summer has a lot of positive aspects to it.
Ooh, yeah.
It's my very great honor to get to preside over this ceremony when 208 Alaskans will become the newest American citizens.
The final steps in the long journey of becoming an American were taken by hundreds of people from all around the world this morning at the University of Alaska Anchorage. For Lee Snellgrove, it's the end of nearly a lifetime of waiting.
I came here when I was 3 years old, and 57 years later, I'm an American.
He moved here from England, and while no stranger to the USA, he says he's never been more patriotic.
A lot of people don't appreciate the freedoms that are here, and I do.
I've been in the United States for 19 years, and since the age of 10, I've been here trying to become a citizen, and had a lot of errors and trials, and I had a lot of hopes.
Peter Kong is another face in this crowd. He moved here from South Korea in 2000.
Right after 2001, 9/11 happened, which I was also living in New York at the time, and for immigrants, it was difficult for them.
God bless America!
I like natural things.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, track. And now, 20,000 Bones Under the Sea by Cynthia Gibson.
Is that fishbone?
In the fall, there's lots of bones if you walk along the beach. I just have to do something crazy. All fish bones, 100%.
Cynthia Gibson is the name of the artist. She is a woman who lives in Sitka, and she was inspired to make a flapper style, 20s style dress because she was amazed by salmon vertebrae as sort of a natural bead.
I'm just inspired by nature, so I love just walking around.
I had like 5 gallon buckets full of fish bones.
And it took her a number of years to collect them.
Those are salmon vertebrae.
Cynthia has said that there are 20,000 salmon bones. One of my lab assistants just did the tally. She said that it was probably about 260 salmon that are represented in this dress.
I made it in 2017, and I made it for a wearable art event in Sitka.
You have to work a lot on the bones. You have to clean them.
She experimented with lots of different techniques on trying to get them cleaned off, because of course when she found them there was a lot of meaty stuff on there, pretty smelly and oily.
Yep, Cindy's working on her bones because the house smelled like fish. We got like a crab pot and we lined it with screen material and put the bones in there. So we stuck them in the ocean. And then like 2 weeks later you come back and they're all like they look like this inside the screened basket. They were all separated, washing around in the salt water, and they looked great.
She's not a full-time practicing artist. She's a financial planner by trade.
This is what I do in my free time.
She collected from the dress itself, from the top half. These are all ones that she and her family members collected from the coast around Sitka. And then right at the hips, right below the hip line, you can see that they changed to a heavier gauge of bone, and those are all king salmon bones.
People who aren't from Alaska are like, oh yeah, that's cool. But people from Alaska are like, oh my gosh. You know, they're really over the top enthusiastic about all this stuff that I make with fish parts.
It was never intended to be a bead on a dress. But this one woman, you know, had this vision, she had this connection, she had the diligence to work for years to collect these things, and it, you know, became almost an obsession for her to see this thing through. It's a perfect illustration of how people are connected to salmon, the bone dress.
That man in Dave Rose Park began acting erratically.
The officer patrolling the area saw the suspect pointing what looked like a firearm at houses in the area and also individuals in the park.
And backup arrived to assist the officer.
We hire people and we train them and we expect them to use good judgment, and part of that good judgment is making sure that they don't allow any harm to come to any of the people around them or to themselves.
As families nearby ducked for cover.
All my mind was to get my family in the house.
That witness says the suspect, referred to as Midnight, always seemed nice.
He looked at us, but he kept on walking.
But APD says he ignored repeated commands and at one point pointed his gun.
We are called Innoko River Wood Arts. Innoko is the river where my mom was born. The mouth is directly across from the Yukon River from the village of Holy Cross where I live. This is my hollow. It's just a simple, block of wood with the inside cut out. We put nativities inside them. When I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old, I got really sick and I was taken to the Bethel Hospital, and I stayed down there for maybe 2 weeks or so. There was this guy, he was the X-ray technician. Since I was there alone, he would come by and see me, quite a bit. And we got to be kind of friends. I liked him. When I returned to Holy Cross, and I got a little package in the mail, it was a little pocket knife. And I would just carve with it. Animals and figurines. I learned how to carve, and I was able to make a living, carving ivory, and a good living too. Just that one little thing enabled me to go and, buy a house and raise my kids. This is the little Mary that we put in our nativities. I don't do it all by myself. I have my son Andrew, who helps me. We have Mary and Joseph, an Inuit family, Eskimo. On his left-hand side is an Athabascan king. You can tell by his dress and his hat. And over here we have an Aleut king and a Tlingit king. We pick out the wood especially because of the colors. Everything is from Alaska, even me, and a beautiful star. Just one little thing, that a person did changed somebody else's life. Isn't that crazy? If it wasn't for him mailing me the little pocket knife, I'll never forget him.